started as a typical evening stroll under the flickering streetlights that lined the old cobblestone roads of my neighborhood. I always found peace in the quiet, the only sounds being my footsteps and the occasional rustle of leaves. But recently, things have changed. Shadows seem to multiply in my peripheral vision, moving erratically against the walls of centuries-old buildings. At first, I thought it was my mind playing tricks, but the shadows grew bolder, inching closer with every walk. Curiosity turned to dread as I realized these shadows weren't cast by anything around me. I was determined to discover the source. One night, as the clock struck midnight and the air turned icy, I stopped abruptly on the corner of Elm and Vine, the very spot where the shadows seemed most concentrated. Summoning all my courage, I spun around to confront whatever followed me. My heart thudded in my chest as I saw them, not mere shadows, but silhouettes of people, their faces a blur, yet somehow familiar. They glided silently, their presence overwhelming, and it hit me. They were the reflections of those who had once walked these streets, now long gone. What chilled me to the bone was the realization that they weren't just wandering aimlessly, they were following me. The days that followed were a haze of insomnia and paranoia. I found myself obsessed with learning about the history of the area, uncovering stories of tragic accidents and unsolved disappearances. It seemed each shadow represented a soul trapped between worlds, seeking something they had lost. But why me? Why were they drawn to my nightly walks? I searched for answers in old newspapers and faded photographs, hoping to piece together a pattern. My mind was a storm of questions, each more terrifying than the last. The revelation came unexpectedly during one of those restless nights. Flipping through an ancient family album, I found an unsettling photo of my great-grandfather, a man I'd never met. He stood with a group of people in front of a familiar building, the corner of Elm and Vine. As I stared at the image, the truth unfolded like a dark secret. These weren't just random spirits, they were my ancestors, trapped in limbo, seeking closure. I was their link to the living, the one who could finally set them free. But with this knowledge came a haunting responsibility. I knew what I had to do, yet fear gripped me tighter than ever. The shadows weren't just following me, they were waiting for me to join them.